Hello, welcome back to another episode of Locked In. My name is Megan,
I'm Sam.
and today we're going to be covering Sam's night in Miami with that Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. We're going to be talking about NBA playoffs. We're going to be talking about Dame Lillard trade, and we're going to give our predictions on NFL who will make the biggest jump. Stay tuned. That ended abruptly. Oh, well, anyways, we're here. So welcome back to another episode of Locked In, where we cover the latest and hottest NBA news, NFL news, and debates. First, I'm going to get started, though. Sam was out in Miami covering the Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul fight. I want the tea, Sam. I want to know what happened in Miami. I don't want it staying in Miami. What happened in Miami? First, I want to know some things that you see behind the scenes. You also had met with a couple cool people I see on IG. Who's the coolest person you met, and what's your thoughts on the fight?
So it was honestly pretty cool. It was a great experience to fly out there and handle it all. It was cool, like going to the press conferences and everything and seeing everyone up close and personal. I got to talk to Chad Johnson a little bit. A lot of players over there really didn't like pitchers, so they had a couple conversations with people. Others, a lot of pitchers and all that. Like, for example, Derrick Henry, not as nice as you may think.
No?
Not really a nice guy.
Oh, man.
But it is what it is.
But he just got Julio. He should be happy.
It was before Julio.
Julio. Maybe that's why. Maybe he wasn't sure.
It was a little bit before Julio, but it was pretty cool overall. Met a couple people. Met Buddy Hield. Met Kamaru Usman, UFC champion. Mm-hmm. I think it was a pretty great time. And the fight, it was more of a money scheme than anything. We knew it wasn't going to be anything serious. Mayweather's a smart man. He's a businessman. He said in a quote, he's the best to do legalized robberies in the world.
He really is.
And he makes money off everything, so good for him.
Yeah. Please don't tell me you took any diet advice from Chad Johnson.
No, my friend's actually the one that asked him the question about McDonald's.
And what was his response? I didn't see that.
It was like the Sports Center ended up posting it again. He looked at him for a good 30 seconds just staring at him and basically told him F off, he loves his McDonald's, he has to eat it all the time. I was like, all right. And I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I never. He said he wasn't really happy because he had to be on a diet for this fight.
Yep.
But I also want to talk about, you also went viral for a question asking Logan Paul if he'd be interested in MMA. Real quick, how did that come? What made you think of that question? Also, there's been a type of did he grapple him or was he knocked out? What do you think?
So Mayweather in the first press conference was talking about how Logan Paul was a great grappler. He was hugging him the whole time. And they basically made a bunch of jokes about it. So I was like, all right, well, might as well ask Logan, see what he thinks. Try to get the pot stirring a little bit. And he seemed to be a little kind of shook by the question. His manager kind of gave me a good laugh. He brushed it off quick. He answered it quick. But I think he'd be a better MMA fighter than a boxer.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, he was. I think it was not knocked out, more so stunned. Because he fell onto Mayweather's lap. He was holding him up, trying to keep that man up awake.
Yeah.
He was definitely out. He denies being out, but he definitely was. We all saw it.
I was about to say, yeah, trying to, sell a bit more, get more money back from your pay-per-view.
Exactly.
But what I say was, but what were your thoughts when he answered? Were you surprised that he answered that? Or were you what were your thoughts when you asked that? Oh man, what did you expect was going to happen?
Well, honestly, I don't know. I was expecting Jake to chime in maybe. He was sitting over on the sideline. He was talking a lot more than Logan was at his own press conference.
Doesn't surprise
me.
I
was expecting maybe him to chime in a little bit since he's fighting Tyron. But I was pretty happy with the answer he gave. He kind of brushed up on it. He seemed like he wanted to push it away a little bit because it was kind of directed at him. But I think it was a good one.
And the last thing I want to touch on is I think these internet celebrities is kind of to me, I think it's ruining the game of boxing and MMA. Having them fight these former fighters or these fighters, that were, considered great. It's ruining it to me. It's also a slap in the face for, a lot of young upcoming fighters here in Florida who are trying hard and working hard, but he had these guys who just got some followers and able to get the fight just because they got, some followers. I think it's a slap in the face. It's not an even match. Obviously, we all know what's going to happen. I don't think it's good for the game. I get it brings more attention, but know what you should do? I think you should do something like the NBA does, like an all-star type week. Maybe have celebrity match week or celebrity match day and do that. Don't have them fight real fighters because everyone knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, no. And like the same thing with Jake Paul. Showtime signed him to a 3-fight deal, which is kind of outrageous. And I don't even think he'll make it past Tyron Woodley, but if he does, he needs to fight an actual boxer, and then we're going to see what goes on from there.
Yeah, keep the followers out of it. Let people come up, the way how it's supposed to be. But let's get into our news. Let me get a video for news. I worked hard for that. So... Wait. All right, the NFL news for today is going to be the Jets are actually trying to cut salary right now, trying to make some more cash space, seems like, by asking reliable wide receiver, and who's been in for a couple years now, Jameson Crowder, to take a pay cut. They at least want half 50% of pay cut. He's getting $10 million currently, not guaranteed. They also signed Corey Davis in free agency and drafted Elijah Moore. So he's Jameson Crowder's kind of expendable. But he has been with the team for a while and is a viable veteran, so let's see if they can work it out. Russell Wilson is also back in the news. People are talking about, is he going to do this? Does Seattle have to win it this season? Do they have to win it to keep him happy? There was rumors early in this offseason saying that he wants to be traded. Russell Wilson came out and talked to ESPN, said that last season was frustrated, but he wants to stay in Seattle. And honestly, they're still a contending team. They just need to rebuild that defense. And they did some things for the offensive line this offseason. Now, Packers president Mark Murphy calls Aaron Rodgers, the QB, who's not happy with the organization right now, who's asked for a trade, a complicated fella. When's the last time you heard that word, fella? And it's funny, too, because this came after, former wide receiver and friend, former Packers wide receiver and friend of Aaron Rodgers, James Jones, told on the Colin K-Word show that it's about respect and thought it was fixable. I wonder what Aaron Rodgers thinks of these comments now. After he called him a complicated fella, it's not really what you want to do, like what you want to say when your quarterback's really pissed off. 49ers got in some trouble here. NFL docked the 49ers last week of rookie development program for violating off-season workout rules. For contact technique, they're really strict about that. I guess there was a video clip from rookie minicamp that got out through social media, and the 49ers got punished for it. Now it's interesting, though, because I feel like it's just the Patriots. It would be everywhere. But it's not as a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of strict rules. It's also for their best protection. Now, what about the NBA? What's NBA under radar news, Sam?
So there's actually a bunch of little trade rumors going around. I was informed the other day that the Celtics may be trying to shop Kemba for Kristaps Porzingis because both sides are unhappy. Kemba and the Celtics already agreed they're going to part ways this offseason. Porzingis isn't happy with his role over there with the Mavericks. I don't know how much that'd benefit the Celtics, but I could see it happening to get another point guard over there to help out Luka and then bring Kristaps over.
Can I touch on this real quick? Because I said something on Twitter about this. It makes sense for both guys need new starts, but here's the thing. And so, that's probably the best they will get for Kemba, right? Mm-hmm. It's the closest they will get for another star for Kemba.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the Celtics don't really need another injury-prone player. They don't really need they have a big man who's already injury-prone. They don't need another big man that's injury-prone, or someone that needs the ball because Tatum and Brown already play a lot of ISO. So he might be the best you can get for Kemba, but he might not be the best fit for the Celtics.
Yeah. Exactly, but you said he would be the best they can get. That's really no one else looking for Kemba right now, especially he's getting up there in age. So I feel like that'd be their best option. It'd be him and the 16th overall pick they were looking at for Kristaps Porzingis. So we'll see about that. Yeah. I don't know if it's going to happen, but that's one of the rumors going around.
Okay.
And then next, you got Duncan Robinson is being chopped on by the Warriors. I feel like that'd be a deadly combination throwing him over there. They're already Splash City. Him, Clay, Steph. But he is looking for around $20 million a year, so it's also a cap space thing.
$20 million?
$20 million, yeah. They're shopping looking for $20 million. Yeah.
I feel
for Duncan Robinson.
I feel like the Warriors think they're the Army or something. All they want is shooters, man. Like
Yeah. But that would be a scary combination throwing them over there because they still have Wiggins. You'd have Klay Thompson come back, hopefully healthy. You have Steph Curry looking great still. I feel like if they get him, that's just adding to their legacy, and they're going to make another great push.
Yeah,
But again, you got to think of the cap space. If he wants that much, he's not worth that much. Let's be honest. He's not.
Is scoring really a problem with them, or is it defense?
Mhm.
Is it health really? Because when Clay's healthy, that's going to be a big jump for that team.
Yeah.
If he comes back right. But anything else you got on that game?
And then the last one, the Lakers, you hear them trying to trade for so many superstars. I'm kind of getting sick of it at least.
Really?
You got right now, Russell Westbrook's back on the trade market for them. The package would include Montrezl Harrell, KCP, Kyle Kuzma, and a first-round pick for Russell Westbrook.
After they played in the playoffs, any of your role players should be available. No one should be
Yeah.
between LeBron and Anthony Davis. But
Especially Dennis Schroeder, turning down 3 years, $75 million contract. He's not going to get that anywhere else after that performance.
yeah, he might regret that soon. I mean, it looked like he was the only reliable role player for a second in the playoffs, but then he didn't show up in the biggest moment. Now, I don't think Westbrook and LeBron can coexist, though. Do you?
I think they could figure it out. Honestly, I feel like because Westbrook looks up to LeBron a lot. They're close friends. No one really thought him and Beal could work together either. They meshed together pretty well. I think they need a full off season and maybe some of the regular season to get together. It wouldn't if they traded him towards the beginning of the season, that wouldn't work. They need a longer period of time to figure out how to work him, AD, and Westbrook together. Plus, figure out the other role players they're going to sign after getting rid of these three.
Well, I would say this: LeBron really has to be okay with going off ball if that happens. I rather if it's we'll talk about this. We'll talk Dame a little bit later, but him or Beal I think should be your number one target, a shooter, someone that can space the floor for you guys. But let's get to our 4 for 4 NBA thoughts. I'm gonna bring out a banner. All right, 4 quick comments for both of us on NBA playoffs. Mine are: Suns are the people's team. They just play together. People are rooting for them. They're the people's champ right now. Right now, we're about to find out: can KD lead a team? Can KD carry a team? We're about to find this out. Versus the Bucks, James Harden and Kyrie Irving are both injured. It's up in the air whether they're going to be able to return in this series. And then also, I feel like this is also going to be a problem going forward because continuity is a big thing. The role players were already kind of lost, and now they're going to have them get more minutes, and then they're going to Harden and Kyrie Irving going to come back, and it's really going to be more confusing. So continuity is a real thing, and they only played 8 games in the regular season together. So this is a problem. But and the next one is Nuggets, Lakers, and Memphis should be fine. Players that got knocked out here in the playoffs. They had either have bright futures or they have the markets set up for them where they will attract guys for next offseason. The Heat, Mavs, Knicks are 1 star away. Not 1 star away. They need another star. They need a co-star there. They got a star there. They need someone else to be really into that next level of contending. And then Celtics and Wizards fans should be worried. We don't really have the cap space. You have the talent, but you don't really have no answers. It's not clear your direction. Lastly, I want to touch on something. Big Baby, aka Glenn Davis, former Celtic, and I see Celtics fans also that with this, that's where you get attitude about Kyrie Irving's injury. You should be ashamed of yourself. I feel like you should be ashamed of yourself because this is what we were talking about 2 weeks ago about players and people is taking it too far. This is going past the game, right? This is someone's livelihood. This is how they make their money. This is someone's health. To say someone that's what you get for an injury just because they stepped on a logo, think about that. Does that even sound right? Like someone's health just because they stepped on a logo. I get it's a rivalry. You can boo them. You can, like I said, we talked about this last week. Like what's not crossing the line. But to wish injury on somebody or to say haha with your injury on someone, that's going over the line. That's someone's livelihood. It's just not cool. It's taking a step further than the sport.
Yeah, definitely.
So
my 4, the Trailblazers need to figure something out. We'll talk about that later. But they need to figure something out. It's not working over there no matter what they do.
Okay.
The Nuggets, I feel like Jokic was rushed to be the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he is a great player, but you can't win MVP and then get swept out of the first round by a team that's big is still unexperienced.
But we talked about this last season. It's a regular season award.
But still, I don't know. And then Chris Paul should have had more MVP votes.
Yeah.
The way we've been seeing him play, he only had 2. He should have way more MVP votes. I don't know who's running that, but they messed up big time.
He should have had more than Curry. He should have had more than some other players because he's the most valuable team. What's most important measurement is how much you impact winning. Stats are cool, but at the end of the day, the most important, most valuable thing is wins. How can you translate your team to have more wins? And with Chris Paul, we saw last season this team were fighting for a playoff spot. This season, they secured the second, third seed.
Yep.
And then we're seeing in the playoffs how much more he means to them.
And Celtics, we learned they need a point guard. Kemba's not the guy. They need a pass first guy. Not really. They need a Rondo type again. They need another Rondo.
I wish we had Chris. That would have been perfect. That would have been a perfect pick. But yeah, Rondo was up for trade with Atlanta. I don't know why they didn't get him.
I feel like it was just too late. Once he went to the Lakers, that was just done. Return to the Celtics was never going to happen. And lastly, the Bucks cannot keep their foot off the pedal. They need to finish this out. While it sucks Kyrie and James Harden are hurt, they need to use this as their advantage because with them there, they have no chance, as we saw the first 2 games. Mm-hmm. They have no chance. And KD, we saw, can't really lead a team. He said he doesn't want to lead a team. He wants to be the second, third guy. It's time for him to show up without them too because they traded away all their good role players to get them. So they got to figure it out. But the Bucks cannot keep their foot off the pedal.
But yeah, if you want to be in this top 10, top 15 conversation of all time, you gotta lead a team. You gotta be that number one guy. You gotta show you can hold your own with it when you guys are out. I mean, credit to him, he was the best player in Golden State when they won the thing. But the question with him is, can he lead a team by himself? Like, how much support does he need? We give the same thing to LeBron. We give the same thing to other guys. Same questions to KD. It's all fair.
Yeah.
All right. Now I want to talk about NFL. Who will make the biggest jump in the second year? Do you want to start off with this?
So I've been thinking about this a little bit. It was kind of hard. There's plenty of people going around, but honestly, I gotta say Joe Burrow. I feel like his season was cut short. Mm-hmm. He in the beginning games he did great with what he had. He really had nothing over there. I feel like his second season he's gonna come back fresh off the injury. He's gonna show it again. He had a great season at LSU, one of the most historic ones we've seen. And then came over to a Bengals team with a depleted offense and no offensive line, and an AJ Green that really didn't want to be there at all. And he still did pretty solid until he got hurt. So I feel like this is his year to make that big jump to show he's still one of those elite quarterbacks, and he was the best quarterback in that draft.
Yeah, because Herbert, right? A lot of people talk about Herbert surprised everybody. Now the reason I would go against my rebuttal to that was we talk about biggest jump. To me, he was actually he was right there with Herbert when he was healthy. He was one of the best young QBs in the NFL. I do think he's gonna have a better year, obviously, because he has more support. He's coming back. I think he's gonna have to get off to a slow start because obviously coming back from injury, right? You got rust. But he has his guy they just drafted in Jamar Chase from LSU, and that's gonna be I think a hell of a duo right there.
That connection's already established.
Yes. But I think there's already it's already expected. Like I said, his play was already great before he got hurt. Someone who I think there's actually 2 guys I was debating. Okay, so one of the guys I'll tell you before I made my selection, DeAndre Swift, right? The guy that I was seeing actually as the best running back that was ranked as the best running back in his class. Came in, kind of got off to a slow start. Was under Adrian Peterson. He's actually in a prime position to break out. Let me tell you why. Detroit hired Anthony Lynn, right? Yeah, Anthony Lynn, former running back coach. That's the offensive coordinator. There's no Adrian Peterson now. He's on top of the depth chart. And it seems like he's also impressing in camp. He's making highlight plays. He's great both as a pass catcher and runner. They also have a lack of weapons now with wide receivers. Kenny Galladay left. And they also have Goff. So I would trust the ball more in the running back hands than Goff's hands, right?
Yeah.
The only concern I have here is that teams will stack the box eventually against them. Last season, though, he showed he could be an explosive player. He had 4.6 yards per carry, which led the team, 8 rushing touchdowns, which also led the team 521 yards in 4 starts and 13 games total. Now, but the fact I have over him is because one of the concern of stack the box, but also this player has more control of the offense, which is a QB, and it's Tua. Okay, Tua, people are sleeping on Tua and sleeping on Miami in general. Tua showed flashes to me last season that he could be great, and people want to talk about he was benched. I feel like he was benched because Miami was a playoff team and they had a capable starter in Fitzpatrick to come in, so they didn't have to deal with the rookie mistakes. They didn't want to risk losing the spot in the playoffs with the own rookie mistakes. So Flores, as a guy who has experience in the playoffs and kind of came from the bill, he's going to do the best for his team right now, and he's going to make that decision. They don't have Fitzpatrick anymore, so I feel like now he's going to be stuck, to work through those mistakes. And how do you improve? Just working through your mistakes. So I think that he has better understanding. He has a full offseason, a regular offseason when he's healthy. He came to the NFL. He was banged up. He didn't really have a good full offseason. He said he didn't really have full grasp of the playbook. And this season's different. He has better grasp of the playbook. He also has better weapons too. They signed Will Fuller, and they also signed Waddle. A lot of speed. Waddle was his teammate in college, and it already seemed like they had a great connection in camp. So yeah, I would say so. He was ranked about 34 for passing leader. He was number 34 in the NFL. Obviously, he only had 9 game starts. He was 6-3 though. He got 64 completion percentage. That was also ranked the bottom. 1,814 yards and 11 touchdowns. So he was ranked 34 last season for passing leader. I think he'll rank between that 10 to 15 mark this season. I think he's gonna take a big jump, especially with guys like coming questions like Watson. We don't know what's gonna happen with him. Aaron Rodgers, we don't know what's gonna happen to him. Drew Brees is gone. Philip Rivers is gone. So I think that's a big possibility. I like what I saw from last year against Kansas City, against the Patriots. So he has high IQ. His skills is there. I just think he needs some time. He just needs some time, and he has better weapons, a better team.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. But there's another guy we're both sleeping on, I think, and it's not just because I'm a Broncos fan, but Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah,
because there's so many quarterbacks in question to head over there. You have no clue what's going to happen. Even I feel like Teddy Bridgewater is an upgrade over Drew Lock. We saw they were showing videos of them in camp, and he was hitting them on the deep ball every single time. The connection's already established there. And with all the Deshaun Watson stuff going around, no teams are really biting for him right now, and his stock's going down, down, down. And he said in an interview the other day that he wants to play for Denver. Yeah. So I feel like Denver, if they want him, they can get him for very cheap just because of everything going on. But is it worth the risk? Trading all that stuff over for him when you have no clue what he's going to be like in the NFL, what the legal fees are going to be.
We don't know if he's going to be able to play. That's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
He's a great quarterback. If you're able to get him away from the Texas situation, Texas organization too. And we don't know anything, so we can't say what's true, what's not true. We don't know
exactly.
So it's definitely a question. It's definitely a risk, but also be a high reward. I would do it just because but
it's just a matter of what you'd give up.
Yes.
In case he can't play, you don't want to give up too much. But his stock's going down. No one's really fighting for him.
And that's the thing. Well, my thing is that I feel like the Texans won't even trade him. The Texans won't even trade him. They were playing hardball before, and I don't see them changing now. But also, I wanted Jerry Jeudy to touch on that real quick. I felt like he got kind of overshadowed by Justin Jefferson. Had a great year last season. CeeDee Lamb, right? We said was one of the best, wide receivers in the draft. He also had a really good season last season. But I think there was so many injuries with Denver Broncos. I feel like he didn't really have too much continuity, too much.
Nope.
But he still showed off his great running.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now switching off to NFL to NBA, let's go to Dame Lillard. Will the Portland Blazers trade him, and should they? I'll answer this real quick. Will they? No, I don't think so. Not this season, anyway. No, because Dame also just signed a extension not long ago. Which this was the last year of his deal, but now he's about to go hit another deal, which pays him 39, 40 upwards for the next 4 years. Suspension contract. But no, because I feel like Dame is the only hope to be even relevant, right? Dame is their hope. So I don't see a franchise getting rid of that easy. And also, Dame also seems like he still kind of trusts and still wants it to work, right? He reportedly wants to see what the team does this offseason. And we heard that before. And I'll tell you what that translates to. I'm going to give it to one more year. That's basically what he's saying. I'm going to give it one more year. Let's see what they do. On Celtics Speak, CNS Media, David Aldridge came in and said, let me get rid of that, and said Dame is good with any move going forward that make this franchise better, including trading CJ McCollum, which was kind of a question because him and CJ are really close friends, so he didn't want to upset the star. Also, I know there was reports that he wants Jason Kidd, but David Aldridge also believes that Chauncey Billups, a name out there for head coaching candidate for a lot of teams, will end up being the Blazers' next head coach, and then that would also replace Dame. So I think it's possible that Dame will be happy there, and that they can try to fix that situation. Now, can they contend? Can they get enough pieces? That's the question. So should they? If it was me, I'm exhausting all avenues before I trade Dame as a franchise, right? So Dame is 30. I feel like you got like a 2 to 4 year window with his contract. You obviously have 4 years, but you got, let's say, 2 years we have to try to go all in. The thing is, CJ is also 30, and he's making $30 million plus for the next 4 seasons. You got Connaughton and Nurk, both $24 million together, and then you have Powell making $10 to $11 million. So you have a lot of guys making double digits, but no one's that's really that star or taking you to the next level. So I feel like you got to trade some guys, right? The main guy, obviously, I think you have to trade is CJ McCollum, and they're talking about maybe the Spurs, but who would you get in return for them? The thing is, if you trade that start, CJ is your biggest asset. CJ is the biggest guy you have, piece that you have that you get be able to help your team with. But really, would you be able to get anything better is the question. Who's really available, which is tricky. You have to do it in trade too because Blazers only have $9 million cap space. All right, so trade packages for I thought about for CJ that I think can help. That would exhaust for them. John Collins in Atlanta. Looks like he's not going to sign this deal. That's a young piece, but also somewhere I feel like you have to get away from that 2 guard thing. I think they need a complement piece that's either a forward or a big man for a Dame. So also maybe Paul George. I think Paul George needs a new start. It seems like I don't trust the Clippers. Even right now, it seems like it looks a question if they can stay in the playoffs. I feel like they get kicked out, they're going to look to make a move. And I feel like Paul George is a great 2-way player who you can still probably get for less deal. And he doesn't have much as pressure in Portland as he does in LA. Also, if you want to go younger, if you want to go for a package, you want to go big man, Pacers, Domantas Sabonis, or Miles Turner in a package deal. I just feel like you need a better complement piece and also free up cap space for Dame if you want to compete. Because right now, the roster you have right now is not going to cut it.
So I feel like just based off CJ's contract, if they do trade him, it's going to be for the future. Just because that's a big contract to pick up. He's already getting up there in age. And he's not really the best player you want to trade for. Based on that contract, it's a lot of money he's getting paid right now when he's not worth that much. So I feel like just because the contract that big and the length he has, they're going to trade. If they do trade him, it'll be maybe younger players, maybe draft picks, but they're not going to get anything to help them win now. I feel like that's just the main thing with trading. They have a bunch of like good role players, but no one they can trade to get better now.
It would have to be someone that wants to get rid of that player too, or needs to move on too. It can't be something like a Bradley Beal situation, which I don't think Bradley Beal gets traded. I think it's going to be another offseason with names and rumors. But it can't be like for a Bradley Beal. Like it has to be for a piece that wants, like that the team wants, a player that the team wants to move, wants to move forward. Like 2 guys who need fresh starts. Or that's close to contending too. We have to also consider that. But go on, what did you say?
And so, like you said, Dame, he's probably not going to get traded. I honestly can never see him getting traded. I feel like just because the loyalty he has to that team and the amount he puts up, he does so much for that Trailblazers team. It just sucks that they're a small market and no one really wants to go to Portland. That's the main thing. They can't really attract these big stars. You got LA, you got AD over there 5 years. You got the Clippers, you got Kawhi and Paul George over there. Even Boston, I feel, is a more desirable destination than Portland is.
That says a lot.
Yeah, just because it's Portland.
Exactly.
They get to the playoffs every year, but they never have that step to get past it.
Dame is your attraction right now. Like guys that want to play with Dame is your only really selling point. And you don't really have much, like I said, you don't even have much cap space. The thing is, you need guys that complement Dame. Dame is a guard who's best when he has the ball in his hands, and he's also an offensive guy. You need defensive guys who can play off the ball, who can, also be playmaking, but don't need a ball in their hands as much. CJ is great, but it's kind of he's not at the level where he can bring the team up. Like he's not really a second star. He's a borderline 3rd guy. So if you're gonna package, you might have to package CJ with some other players or maybe some picks to get that player. But like I said, maybe a Paul George who maybe could be a second guy. Someone that needs a fresh shot as well.
Yeah, the thing is they should trade though. They should trade Dame, get a fresh start because he's not going to win over there ever. I can never see him winning a ring over there. I can never see it. I can see them getting to the conference finals, but I can never see them getting over that hump to make the finals and win. Just because they don't really surround him with pieces that he needs. Okay. Like CJ McCollum is a great player, but doesn't complement his game. Them two do not work together because in reality, CJ doesn't play defense. Let's be honest there. He really doesn't play much defense. He's solid, but he's not what you need.
He's not a defensive. He's not a stopper. He's just good defensively. He's not stopping anybody.
Exactly, and you need that stopper there to help out, so Dame doesn't have to cover that main guy, that main guard. You need Dame to focus on offense because that's what he's best at. Because that's what they're running him. Really, they're not running it as it's the whole team. They're running it as running through Dame, and that's about it.
Yeah.
We need him to get 50 a game, 40 a game, and that's the only way we're gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they gotta blow that team up. They have to because they're gonna waste Dame's contract. That man needs somewhere new to go while he's still in his prime. Because I don't want to see him get wasted over there. Like many players we've seen get wasted. He needs to win at least one. You got to bring him somewhere. Not a super team, but even give him a fresh start in a bigger market. Like take him somewhere that they need help.
And it's tough too because you have so many great duos in the Western Conference. You got Anthony Davis, you got LeBron. You have to beat a duo as that. You have Chris Paul now and Devin Booker. You have Devon Mitchell and Rudy looks pretty good now with the Jazz. It seems like they got their stuff together. And then you have the Nuggets Joker, who's the MVP, and you have Jamal Murray. We're going to see what happens with Murray when he comes back healthy. So you have to have someone else, a second piece that can beat those other guys as well.
One place I'd actually like to see him get traded to, if he does get traded, is the Raptors.
Okay, yeah, him and
I feel like get rid of Kyle Lowry, trade him over there because I feel their contracts kind of are close to the same.
Yeah.
They're both big contracts. Have him play over there with Pascal Siakam. I think that'd be a great fit. You've never seen him play with the versatile big man like that.
But would that make sense for Portland? Because Portland can get so many young access for him, and I'm not really sure if they would trade him for agent Kyle Lowry. If anything, I could see Portland going after Siakam. You know what I mean? Or trying to get Siakam.
I'm just saying where I'd like to see him play. I feel like because the East, he'd have a better chance at getting competition, whereas the West, they're beyond stacked every single year. And Toronto is a bigger destination than Portland is. You saw Kawhi went over there, which no one really expected. It's a bigger destination, so we can attract more players over there. Especially if Pascal does get traded for him, it's going to be an attraction piece to get him over there still because you got Drake over there and all them like trying to get people. I think that'd just be a better destination for him no matter who they trade.
It's crazy that Drake is a selling point to an artist. But if we're talking about best places, I think Miami. I would love to see him and Jimmy Butler pair together. I think, it's the type of player they are. I think they complement each other really well. All right,
I can see that happening.
Yeah, I think that's a nice one too. That's a nice one too for sure.
They have a lot of young pieces to get rid of.
Yeah. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason. I think it's going to be not too much cap space. I think it's going to be a lot of trades this offseason. It's going to be very interesting. A lot of teams feel like they're right there. We're going to see. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another episode. We'll see you again next week. And until then, stay safe and enjoy the rest of the NBA playoffs. Get my outro on.